Hey, thank you for tuning in once again, and today I want to talk a little bit about what is your purpose in photography. Photographers are in a range of skills and mindsets, and the most popular version is a tourist photographer, and basically that is the typical stand and shoot at the location, what you would take with your cell phone, point and shoot camera, even a DSLR in automatic mode. And then we have those that are trying a little bit something different, where they're trying to get a little bit artsy with their photography, and they're trying different angles, different depths of field. They understand the concepts behind a composition, and then from there you've got your professional photographers and your semi-pro photographers, so to speak, that they're good enough to be a professional photographer. They understand everything about their camera, but it's not their livelihood, but they know how to put a composition together, and then you've got your landscapes, your sports, just different types of photography. And that kind of brings me to what this channel is about, because when I first started it, I had two goals. One was to document the locations I was going, so that both myself and later in life, or even in death, my children and grandchildren could see what I was doing at different places. And number two was to become a better storyteller regarding video. I'm also a writer, and I can tell a story on paper, but I'm not as comfortable behind the camera, and that's what I'm trying to get a little bit better with. Or I said behind the camera, I'm not as comfortable in front of the camera. So I've got to the point where, as I continue this channel, I want to make it more entertaining, perhaps be a little inspirational as far as by showing different locations and what I do, that other people will want to do the same thing, to get out, not be stuck behind a computer or in a cubicle or laying on the couch in the living room. And also to show what I do to get the results that I want, and basically show you what my purpose in photography is. Currently I'm working on 3 projects that's kind of side notes to what I do. I'm a photographer for a living, but to show what I do on the side of doing commercial shoots and portraits, I want to show my side projects are the state parks in North Carolina, which I'm shooting in all black and white. And personally, I like a high contrast black and white, similar to an Ansel Adams style. We recently had a competition here in North Carolina regarding Ansel Adams style black and white photography and the state parks, and I was actually working on this project a little bit before then. And then I'm also shooting with a goal of shooting all the national parks in North America. I'm fortunate enough that I have jobs in several areas throughout the country that's going to allow me to hit roughly 9 or 10 national parks just this year. And my goal, my purpose, is to get certain shots. Some are going to be the typical shots that you can do a Google image search and see every time. But there's going to be others that are more intimate or more secluded, or just not the shots that you see every day from these national parks. And the third one is lighthouses. I've always loved the look of lighthouses, and over the last couple of years I've pretty much shot every lighthouse along the Gulf Coast, down the Florida Peninsula, and up to the Carolinas. So with those 3 projects, it keeps my mind going into what direction I want to head. Will they ever be on exhibit somewhere as part of a series? I don't know, but it's possible because I have a purpose for what I'm doing in my shots. And as the name of this series suggests, this is the journey in photography. So I will change and learn myself along the way and adjust my photography as I go along. And somebody doesn't necessarily stay in one aspect or one thought process throughout. For instance, Ansel Adams started out taking blurry pictures on purpose is a common way of saying it, and then he had finally developed into the style that he was doing in his later life. So along this way, I'm hoping to for instance, I'll show you why I chose a D7200 body as my second body instead of the D500 that has got lots of rave reviews. I'm also going to play around with some stuff like this Hasselblad, that medium format camera, and even this medium format Mamiya that's a twin lens reflex. Something about film photography, it's a different aspect than digital. By all means, everything you do, especially when you get to the medium format. But I want to experiment and get better with that in my photography as well, in my journey in photography. I want to show why it's important to print your photos rather than just look at them on screen. Even if it's just 4x6s or 5x7s. I've got these. I've also got prints that are 4 foot on one side. So I hope you'll come along on my journey with me. I hope you'll subscribe and hit that little notification bell, and we'll see where this goes over the years, hopefully. Thank you again for watching, and look forward to seeing you next week.